play. The Chargers. I feel like I could have put me here because last year you guys beat me up a lot for my Chargers takes and my Herbert takes. And now I come in on the day one of free agency. They didn't even do a lot of things with Attic. And Brew's like, I got them with the Bills and the Ravens as the best team in the AFC. Wild's like, the Chargers are going to be scared.
What were their major moves, though? Because I know
Mike McDaniel.
But it was before. My point is,
and then a healthy line.
We did a free agency show yesterday, and you guys both said, in passing almost, we're picking the Chargers in the AFC West. We're a Chargers show, guys. We're a Chargers show.
Well, then Nick shouldn't be on there because that's not good for Nick.
Well, I mean, that's why he was 7, and the Chargers were 7, and Nick 9, whatever he was. Coming in at number 6.
A number of viewers in the comment section have been inquiring about my perspective on the Los Angeles Chargers and their relatively quiet approach to free agency. There seems to be some concern regarding the absence of high-profile acquisitions, and I want to address that directly. There's a fundamental misunderstanding about what free agency represents for NFL franchises. It isn't simply a mad dash where every team must recklessly pursue every available player. Organizations have specific needs, specific financial constraints, and specific roster constructions that dictate their level of participation in the spending spree. The Chargers simply weren't positioned to be aggressive shoppers this offseason, and that's perfectly reasonable. When you consider what this team accomplished last season given their circumstances, the results were genuinely remarkable. They exceeded every reasonable expectation, which is why I consistently highlighted their achievements week after week. This is also why I pushed back against narratives suggesting they needed Super Bowl validation immediately, or against those who celebrated their playoff exit as confirmation of inadequacy. The mere fact that they achieved the success they did represents a significant accomplishment. It was insanely impressive. Full stop. Now, simply through improved health and the continued development under their coaching staff, they're positioned for natural progression. I understand the desire for splashy additions. Every fan base wants to celebrate a marquee signing like Saquon Barkley or Mike Evans or some other recognizable name. It's much easier to generate excitement around concrete acquisitions. It's simple to envision how a star player transforms your offense and creates matchup problems. Generating hype around those moves requires minimal effort. What requires considerably more work is evaluating a team's potential when they're not making those headline-grabbing moves. You have to dig deeper, analyze the draft capital, consider internal development, and project growth, rather than simply reacting to transactions. That's why I advised someone in the comments to exercise patience. Wait until the draft. Wait until we see how the roster develops through multiple avenues of acquisition. The discourse around free agency spending is fascinating because it operates on completely contradictory principles depending on which team is involved. When franchises spend heavily, the conventional wisdom suggests it rarely works out. Teams that go on spending sprees seldom win championships. However, when media-favored organizations open their checkbooks, suddenly the narrative shifts to praise for their aggressiveness and commitment to winning. It's a binary, inconsistent framework that shifts based on preference rather than principle. Great teams can spend enormous money and succeed. Great teams can spend minimally and succeed. The entire exercise of establishing rigid rules about how roster construction must work is largely fabricated. People invent these guidelines as they go, presenting them as immutable laws of NFL team building, when the reality is far more nuanced. We all gravitate towards simple frameworks because they provide comfort. It's reassuring to believe that if you follow certain principles, you'll achieve certain results. We want everything neatly packaged with a tidy bow, clean, predictable, understandable. But NFL roster construction doesn't operate that way. It's messy, situational, and dependent on countless variables that shift annually. This is why teams like the Chargers and Eagles require different analytical approaches. I recently addressed Philadelphia in similar fashion, though their situation differs significantly. The Eagles may need to take a temporary step backward due to their salary cap situation after multiple deep playoff runs and a championship. Their roster construction demands recalibration. The Chargers, conversely, should be pushing forward. It's time to advance. It's time to reach the divisional round. Perhaps the AFC Championship. Perhaps beyond. I maintain enormous belief in Justin Herbert and this coaching staff. My excitement couldn't be higher. Naturally, there's always the temptation to imagine what they could become with one more weapon, another receiver, another playmaker. Those hypothetical additions create additional excitement, additional reasons for optimism beyond the moves already made. But that's not always how successful organizations operate. For Chargers fans feeling anxious about the relative quiet, my advice remains consistent. Be patient. I noticed some supporters commenting on other videos seeking acknowledgement of their team's situation, and I understand that impulse. When your franchise isn't making headlines, it's easy to feel overlooked or concerned about the direction. Consider the landscape. Miami added Malik Willis. Las Vegas has been aggressively reshaping their roster. Tennessee has spent freely throughout the offseason. Kansas City continues wheeling and dealing. The Rams are making significant moves. Baltimore and Buffalo remain active. Against that backdrop of constant transaction news, it's understandable that Chargers fans might grow antsy, wondering what their organization is doing to improve. But quiet off-seasons don't necessarily indicate inactivity or complacency. Sometimes they reflect disciplined roster management and confidence in existing personnel. Sometimes the biggest improvements come from internal development rather than external acquisition. Sometimes the moves that matter most happen in April rather than March. I'm genuinely curious about how the Chargers faithful are processing this offseason. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read every single response, whether you agree with my assessment or disagree completely. Either way, let's generate substantive discussion. Let's engage in spirited exchange. Ultimately, though, let's ensure we're enjoying the process of following this team. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We're developing an exceptional community here, and I genuinely value your participation. My goal is creating something we all authentically feel connected to, something generating genuine enthusiasm about membership. I believe we're making meaningful progress in that direction. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it significantly enhances visibility and algorithmic reach. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you in the next video.